Well, good morning, my friends. It is hump day, halfway to the weekend, and it dawned on me. Friday officially starts the Christmas season. Now, I have been decorating for several weeks. It's a very bipolar. No offense to anyone who is bipolar. I'm not making fun of you. Don't need any more bullshit. The decorations, because outside is all festive for Halloween, and inside screams, it's time to open presents. Look at that. Heaven's little angel says, I'm actually wearing pink today. That's what I'm talking about. My goodness. Now, what's everyone's kids going to be for Halloween? No way I can use the costume that Linda made OJ, because instead of it looking like a Merlin, it looks like a Klans member, and well, he's a black cat, so we already have enough issues with that. So I think I'm going to put he's a vampire anyway when he gets his fangs out. So I think I'm going to dress him up a different way. Angel P said her grandson's going to be Wolverine. You know what? I might as well go ahead and just let him wear the Klan's outfit. I mean, hell. What the hell? Mermaid said, I'm going as emotionally stable. Well, tell me how that works out for you, girlfriend. Tell me. Well, hello, Robert Chinnery. He said, hi from the UK. We have a lot of friends in here from the UK, Ireland, South Africa, Australia. How's it going over there? Yeah, I'm dressing as Peg Bundy because I've already got trashy clothes. My makeup is already loud. Someone thought I was a drag queen one time, and I have red hair. It doesn't take me 2 seconds to rat it up. So, well, hold on. Brenda said, my dog Freddie is going to be an elf. Woo, how cute. Send me a picture. Eyeball said her lawyers are looking for a plea deal. Well, they screwed the pooch on that. Okay? There's no plea deal now. She's been found guilty. I don't know where you're from. Not being rude. Not trying to be rude. So please don't take it the wrong way. But there's no plea deal now because she's been found guilty. All she's got now is the appellate court. But I bet that plea deal looks pretty damn tasty right now. Right up there with the steak that George wanted to F her on. Well, let's take a second and tell everyone hi and get to our Wednesday ritual. And you know what that is.
Oh, guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's hump day.
She's like, it's hump day. I'm at work, and I don't like anybody having enthusiasm around me. We have our pink on somewhere.
It's adorable. So fetch. What is fetch?
Oh, it's like slang from England.
So they're from Africa. Why are you white?
Oh my God, Karen, you can't just ask people why they're white.
Could you give us some privacy for like 1 second? Yeah, sure. Okay, you should just know that we don't do this a lot, so this is like a really huge deal.
We want to invite you to have lunch with us every day for the rest of the week.
Oh, it's okay. Cool, miss. So we'll see you tomorrow.
On Wednesdays, we wear pink.
Oh my God.
Happy hump day. On Wednesdays, we wear pink. There's our friend Debbie. How is everyone doing? Tomorrow is a big day. Halloween. There's a lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff was going on last weekend. There's a lot of stuff going on in Oklahoma right now. I don't know if it's been covered on your local news, but we have fires everywhere because we haven't had rain since like the middle of September. Remember that old song by James Taylor? Well, I've seen fire and I've seen rain. We're supposed to get 8 inches of rain over the next 4 days. Well, that'll put the damn fires out. There's our friend Mama She. Girl, I missed you. I texted you the other day. Well, let's get to it. First, I want to talk about your comments from a community post I put up talking about Sawa, talking about her guilty verdict. Now, I do know that this show is kind of hacking a couple of people off, but we don't let the minority run the majority around here. I always make a promise that I'm going to follow every case to the end. So we are going to talk again about the case of Sarah Boone. Tomorrow, I have a big show lined up for Madeline Soto. It's going to be a longer show, so pack a lunch. And then I think we're going to do a members live. Yeah, look at that. People are already dropping out because I said that. Have at it. Then I believe we're going to do a members live for Halloween. I got some scary stuff planned. Scary stuff. I won't have makeup on. So if you're not a member, become a member because you're going to love it. You're going to love it. All right. So before I get to it, let's give a big round of applause to today's very special guest, the one and only Kat. Girlfriend, where you been? I know you've been.
Hey, hello.
Are you back in your apartment?
I am now, thank goodness. It's Halloween and I'm going to go as Sarah Boone for Halloween. I'm just waiting for my professional hairstylist to come around, my hair and makeup stylist, so I can look just like Sarah for Halloween.
Well, hair and makeup should have been fired because she looked like she did.
Yeah, she really did. I think they might have just dipped her head in a toilet bowl or something to wash her hair, or, you know, she really looked like state.
That dickhead haircut. And I couldn't believe it because on Friday, we have 2 people guilty as sin. Guilty as sin. Lilazy, love her that name, and Sawa, that looked surprised by their verdict. What did you think about that? Like the shock and awe. I was like, look, this is not the O.J. Simpson trial.
Right.
I was shocked. Or the Casey Anthony trial. You had to have been paying attention.
I mean, seriously, like, only she could be that deluded. I don't think there was another person in this entire world that didn't know that this was going to happen apart from Sarah herself. Even her lawyer, he can sit there and be like, oh, she's not prepared. She wasn't prepared to be found guilty. Of course she was. She's the only person that wasn't prepared because even he knew. He must have known. She was shocking, like literally on the stand. Oh, it was just awful. I'm so glad that she got found guilty and there's justice for George, but I mean, she was shocked.
Her attorney only had 18 days to prepare for trial. We're not talking traffic court.
Right.
We're not talking about getting somebody out of speeding. We're not talking about that. They can do that in sleep. This is a murder trial.
Yeah. Well, you know, he didn't really do himself the favors that I think he thought he might be doing, because ultimately, I guess, realistically, they have a similar type of personality, him and her. And that's probably why they eventually got on and decided to do the trial or whatever together. I mean, if he was that deluded that he seriously thought that after she'd been on the stand that she'd convinced that jury of absolutely anything, if he really thought that, then he was the only other person in the world that thought that she was going to get off with it, because not one other person, you couldn't watch that and think, oh yeah, she's going to get away with this. Hell no. It was a great trial.
No, but Heaven's Little Angels said, to be honest, I was expecting Sarah to walk. A lot
Really?
of people said that. Mermaid said her attorney actually did a good job. I'm impressed. I am too, especially with I mean, I don't know if he was just downing Xannies in YouTube videos, but he was, I mean, he really was.
He
And
did a lot of work in a really short amount of time, but I don't really feel sorry for him with that, because he knew what he was getting into when he took her case on after he answered the help wanted ad in a circus font that she made.
Mhm.
So he really knew that he had everything stacked against him. So in the time that he had, yeah, I think he did a great job. But if he seriously thought it was going to get her off, then he's as deluded as she is, I think. That was
the only thing that gets her off is getting fucked on a steak.
best testimony ever. I was like,
That's the day I had to pinch myself. I was like, now I've heard it all.
oh, right.
And she really thinks it's going to change their minds. Boston Mom said self-defense when he's locked up in a suitcase and she has a ball bat.
Right.
Kimberly Mann said she had better representation than she really deserved. I can definitely agree with that.
I agree with that.
I can't wait for the new letters to come out, because she's already got the pen and paper.
Oh, you know that. I'm surprised we haven't already seen like new 100-page letters already. But ultimately, I mean, the judge as well. I mean, the whole way that this trial was handled, there is not, well, as far as I can see, obviously I'm not a lawyer. I'm a Google lawyer, but I'm not a real one.
Mhm.
There's not one single thing she can appeal on, because the judge dotted every I and crossed every single T. He asked her every single day on camera if she was satisfied with her representation, if she'd had the conversations about all the various things. Like, he literally went into every minute detail.
Oh, he did. And he asked her over and over,
Yeah.
are you satisfied with your representation? Oh,
Mhm.
absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Because they're telling her what she wants to hear.
Yeah.
And we all know we like to hear what we want to hear. She's really, except for, beating her boyfriend in a suitcase, she's really no different than us. I mean, we want to hear what we want to hear. We don't like to hear, you're fat, girl.
Right.
Hear that.
And taking that out of the appellate court's hands, I think, has been really helpful, because they were so meticulous with absolutely everything that went on in that courtroom. I mean, she'll probably feel like she's got 100 legs to stand on when it comes to standing up and saying, but this isn't fair, this isn't fair, this isn't fair. But every single turn, all she's going to hear is everything was done by the book. It was all completely overboard, in public view. There's nothing she can really say is like actual legal grounds for appeal during that whole trial, I don't think. I was really proud of that court. Really proud of all of them in there, apart from her, obviously.
She'll get an appeal by proxy.
She will, but I mean,
But
realistically, there
there's
isn't.
nothing that's going to stick. The
Right,
only
exactly.
I haven't heard, the sentence isn't going to be until December 2nd, I believe.
Yeah.
December 9th.
Yeah.
Oh, so if they say, it's like I was talking on the phone this morning about Lilazy.
Mhm.
And I said, when she goes to appellate court, and she will, she's not going to get a new trial. They're not spending that money on her ass. Not without new compelling evidence. Won't happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
The only thing they might take away is if the judge says, 40 for malice murder, 40 for felony murder. For some reason, I thought those two charges were combined, and then like 5 for each one of the lying to police. So you're in jail for life, no parole.
Mhm.
Only thing the appellate court could do is make it consecutive
Mhm.
and say, no, she's going, no, not consecutive, concurrently.
Concurrent, yeah.
No, this is what she's going to do, and then she will have a chance at parole. I mean, look at Monday. Susan Smith is up for parole.
I know.
Never thought I'd see the day.
Mhm.
Never thought I'd see the day.
Doesn't mean she's going to get it, though, does it? It just means that she's having a hearing for it, I guess. But
not with David sitting there bawling his eyes out, talking about how the affected him.
Hmm. Well, Sarah's got one last mitigation in terms of sentencing, because at the plea deal that she was offered at the 11th hour before the trial started, the judge explained to her, if you're not going to take the plea deal, the minimum sentence that I can give you is 22.5 years. Do you understand that? Obviously, she's done 4.5 years in jail. But
Hmm.
she turned down the plea deal, 15 years for manslaughter. So the
Hmm.
minimum he can do is 22.5 years. But James Owen's saying, because of the pre-sentencing investigation, that he's going to get all of these doctors back on board to talk about her severe mental health and how anxiety-ridden she is in jail and all of this bullshit. So the only mitigation she's going to get now is if the judge feels sorry for her in some way for having severe mental health concerns, which somehow I don't think is going to wash with Judge Cranick, and they're going to sentence her um, based on 22.5 years minimum. Honestly, if I was Judge Cranick, I'd be sentencing her for a year for every single word of every single letter she's ever written.
Wouldn't that be great if the Constitution would allow it? I hope
Yeah,
he's going to give her the maximum. He
yeah,
knows he's going to give her this. He's
yeah.
already ready. He's him and Judge Wooten, who she
Hmm.
had for like 3 years before Cranick came in. He's
Hmm.
going to give her the maximum.
Yeah.
And I mean, she's going to have to serve 80% of that because she's not what's considered a violent criminal, which
Not in general terms, but I mean, the
sounds odd.
violence in that relationship, not even from George to her. I mean, the violence that she perpetuated against him. I know she's not necessarily a danger to society, but if she seriously can drink herself to a state where she doesn't remember videoing her boyfriend in a
Mhm.
suitcase and beating the shit out of it with a baseball bat, then seriously, I'd consider that a danger to everybody around her. Like literally, she might not be a defined violent criminal, but she is violent.
She
She's
is. And
psychotic.
she's aggressive. Now let's talk about
Uh-huh.
this because what I got
Hmm.
from the trial,
Yeah.
because it took me a long time to catch up on
Oh
everything.
yeah, I bet.
I had people texting me and emailing me, and this is with 2 trials going on.
Yeah, it was difficult to keep up with 2 trials. I could watch one, but then catch up on the other. It's a lot to take on, isn't it?
That's what I had to do. And they're like, "Have you seen this? Have you seen this? Have you seen this? Have you seen this?" And I'm like, my brain
Yeah.
only takes so much. But what I was getting from the trial, the evidence, speculation is done,
Hmm.
theories are done, like I said yesterday
Hmm.
about Lilani Simon.
Yeah.
There's no reason for certain channels to keep going the fuck on about Danny.
Hmm.
The evidence is out. She was found guilty
Hmm.
with Sarah.
Yeah.
And I'm going to quit bringing up other cases. Slap my hand. So with Sarah, the evidence is out. A jury of her peers has found her guilty. She's about to be sentenced. But
Yeah.
what I got out of the trial, besides the steak and extra sour cream potato, which was awesome, and the 1,000 puzzle, was she was abusive to Brian as well. And I still think she was trying to get him to cooperate with her to remove George's body.
Yeah.
I really now, with everything they put out, I believe that she needed to contain him somewhere where
Hmm.
all you have to do is pick up the luggage and go throw it somewhere.
Yeah. I really believe that too. I thought it was really interesting that obviously that wasn't kind of testified to necessarily, but I kind of felt like she phones Brian expecting him to solve all her problems. And even more so, because since the trial, there's been all the alimony stuff come out as well. Even in those letters, she seriously expects Brian to be buying her cheeseburgers while she's in jail because she's trying to gain weight and she's so skinny and she really wants him to buy him a cheeseburger, but he won't he won't even buy me a cheeseburger. Like, this guy owes you nothing.
No, this guy is
Nothing.
taking care of your son, and you
Right.
try to involve him in a murder.
Yep.
Nicey Marie said, I think, in my opinion, she was trying to frame her ex.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe even that.
I think
because she called him first, and he told her several times, call 911. And it wasn't even until he walked in and was like, you need to call 911, and walked straight back out of there, that she did. Because I think you're right, Brooks. I think she was going to say to him, can you deal with this for me? You need to take him somewhere, get him out of here, because like literally I can't deal with this. But she wanted to go out on the back patio and have a smoke. She said to Brian, why don't you come out with me and have a smoke on the back patio? Like your boyfriend is dead.
Mhm.
Why am I going to come have a smoke with you?
I just
Oh,
cannot
yes.
figure it out. I can only imagine the conversation she had with him.
Mm-hmm.
That, hey, I just need you to get this suitcase out of my way
Yeah.
because you know all this time how he's been beating on me.
Mm-hmm.
And I finally had to fight back when he's like, no, you got to call 911.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She
And
knows how to dial the phone. She knows how to take videos. She knows how to do all that.
yeah.
But
And actually,
she was using him as a patsy.
mm-hmm.
Well, let's get to your comments that you left for us.
Yeah.
All right, on the community tab, when I announced the guilty verdict. Now, remember, if I showcase your comment, you go into a drawing for an Amazon gift card. You have to email me to say, I heard my comment. Kimberly Mann said, I cannot wait to see her face at sentencing since all I could see was the back of her head for the guilty verdict.
Mm-hmm.
This case disturbed me big, and I'm so happy she filmed her own hateful self. In my opinion, her own videos sealed her face. Her
100%.
face. Rest in peace, George. Well said.
Mm-hmm. I can't help but imagine how different this whole thing would have been if she hadn't made those 2 videos. I just can't imagine, because that evidence was so powerful. It was such a striking thing. I don't think there was a person on that jury that sat there stone faced through that. I think they were emotional as hell watching that. It was horrible. But if she
His
didn't have them,
family left the courtroom.
mm-hmm. Oh, James tried to get a mistrial for that.
Mm-hmm.
He tried to push for a mistrial because the family got upset.
Who wouldn't? If I saw someone beating my son in a suitcase, I couldn't sit there and watch it either.
Like, it was horrible. But if she didn't have those videos, all we would have had is her testimony that he got in the suitcase, she zipped him up, and the next day she found him dead in the suitcase. That's all we would have known about this whole case. It's only but for the fact that she made those videos that any of this went the way it did, I think.
Well, but I still think that even if there was no videos, which we know there was, we
Mm-hmm.
saw, one really got to me. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I still think that she would have I think she would have just talked herself into a damn corner. I think she would have opened that big fucking flap of hers,
Mm-hmm.
and I think she would have screwed it up one way or another. She kept thinking the more she talks, the more she talks, the more she talks, the more she talks, they're going to believe her. She doesn't understand. These people are trained to not believe people they interrogate.
And then she tried to sort of like say that they forced her to talk by challenging the Miranda warning. I didn't know that I didn't have the right to stay. I didn't know that I couldn't just talk to them without a lawyer present. Yeah, you did. It's in the Miranda warning. Like, you just flap your gums. Say less. Well, actually, don't say less, because this is the best outcome for George and for George's family. Not that there's ever going to be a great outcome for someone whose loved one is in a suitcase that's died. But ultimately, the fact that she did that, it led to the justice for George, I believe.
100%. Fundaski said, to me, it was not hide and seek, but more truth or dare.
Mm-hmm.
The jury was out for around an hour and a half, 5 women and 1 male, which surprises the shit out of me, because there's always more women on a jury than men, which is why it's so hard in certain states to get the death penalty, because women don't want to do it. Men don't care. And, somebody on that jury has been abused.
Mhm.
Okay. It's impossible that, everyone there has had just a great, sparkly, shiny life. Okay.
Yeah, 100%. It was one thing I was really concerned about, like, part of the way through the trial, I was thinking to myself, there's a lot of women on this jury and it's going to resonate. So, surely at least one of them's going to be like, oh, she couldn't help it. She was an abused woman. But I think what turned it for me was the videos that she made of George when she was screaming and hollering at him and he was cowering in the corner, because I don't think there's a woman on this earth that could say she was the one that was the victim in this situation. She was horrible to him. Horrible to him. My word. I was like, no, that for me, that even if I'd sat through the unemotional through the suitcase video and believed that she was a bad spouse and this somehow was defensible, when they showed those videos of her treating George the way she did, I was like, no, there's no way on this earth there's a woman on that jury that's going to sit there and be like, no, that's okay. Whatever he did to her, how she's talking to him is okay. It don't make sense. And I'm glad they found the way they did. I was really proud of the jury.
And Court K totally agreed with you, because she said, I think those last videos
Yeah,
really did her in.
100%.
So as people were going, oh, boo-hoo for Sarah, then they saw those videos and they saw she was the antagonizer. The whole
100%.
Now, what did you think? I'm asking everybody, but Kat's in the hot seat.
Mhm.
What did you think about her demeanor when they read it out? She's surprised.
Yeah. Because like I said, she's the only person that never knew this was going to happen. She's like, what, me? You're saying I did this, but it wasn't intentional. She's still, in her head, she is still like, you found me guilty, but this was not intentional. And that's going to be in the next letter she writes. Guarantee it. She can't accept it.
That's all she knows. And he was following the letter of the law, because he knows, Kranick knows, it could go sideways. Now, let's look at her two different plea deals. She was offered 5 fucking years.
Mhm.
I'm saying the F word too much. Sorry. But it gets me really going. Okay.
Yeah.
Spank me. I got to put a quarter in the jar.
Okay.
Then the next time, 15.
Mhm.
She's already served almost 5.
Yep.
She would be out like in another 4 or 5 years. They're not going to keep, they don't keep them in there the whole time unless it's capital, something like that.
Mhm. It was 15 years manslaughter as well, so it wasn't even like a murder thing. It was manslaughter. It was a lesser charge. She would have been out with parole, like she literally wouldn't have even had to have spent another 5 or 6 years in there and she'd be done with this. But no, she's so arrogant and so narcissistic. I don't care if they say narcissistic traits. But strong with the narcissistic traits this woman is, right? Because she believed that she wanted her chance to shine. She wanted her hair and makeup done so she could sit there and dazzle them all with her brilliant tales of how much of a victim she was and how this was everybody else's fault, but not poor little Sarah's fault. And she failed. And she's the only one that didn't know this whole thing was going to blow up in her face. She still doesn't believe it.
Sitting there all these years.
Yep. Yeah.
Is it insane? All right, we're going to look at the verdict, but we're going to really study Sarah's face. And then we have some other things to go through. Like, how did we get here?
Okay.
I understand that. I see everybody nodding their heads. Okay. State, are we ready to bring in our jury?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense, are we ready to bring in our jury?
Yes, Judge.
All right, let's go ahead and bring in our jury. Everyone will remain seated.
Snow said she wants her own book. Well, guess what? The state of Florida says you cannot profit off of your crimes. Can't do it.
Son of Sam.
If she writes a book, does a Netflix series, Hulu, any of the BS, that money's going to go to his children.
Or her lawyer, who she hasn't paid.
And he would probably get it faster because he's already talking about getting paid. And I'm like, you know.
Yep. He said right at the start, sorry, I know we're delaying from watching this footage, but he said right at the start, he was like, I haven't really decided agree with Sarah on a price, but she's going to pay me back about $50 a month, I guess. Like,
With
she
what?
like, fuck, she is.
I mean, she's going to make about 37 cents,
Mhm.
not dollars,
Yep.
an hour with whatever
Mhm.
job she has, but that goes to her commissary. So
Yep.
she can get her beefaroni, her
Her beef
diet
burger.
Pepsi, I think feminine products in the woman's jail will be provided to her, things like that, art supplies. Some things are provided, get some better shower shoes, but they make them work when they're there. But it's like 37 cents an hour in the state of Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what are you going to buy with 37 cents an hour?
Knowing her, she'll probably still be on Brian for alimony, even though that's all going to get a go against her anyway. She's still really under the impression that her bank account should be reopened because Brian closed it, and that she needs that $1,000 a month alimony that she was getting before all of this. What did she call it? Unfortunate event happened that stopped her from from getting her alimony.
She beat the
Unfortunate
hell
event.
out of She beat the hell out of him and was fucking other people. There's another 25 cents if somebody wants to put it in. When Brian was working his buns off,
Mm-hmm.
supporting her and their son. So she was getting child support and alimony because he
Mm-hmm.
just wanted her off his back.
Yep. And when she wrote to the judge about the alimony, she said, I was receiving this alimony while I was in jail, before I was in jail, and then this unfortunate event happened, and now I'm in jail and I don't get alimony anymore. Unfortunate event happened that put you in jail. Talk
And,
about
and
understatement.
he didn't even fight her on all this money. That's how she afforded the apartment.
Mm-hmm.
She afforded, the Walgreens wine. That's how she afforded the wine at Publix.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big old jug of Carlo Rossi.
The world does not owe you a living, Sarah. I think the sooner you get that part of it into your brain, the quicker things are going to move forward for you, because she seriously thinks that she needs everybody else to do for her all the time.
Mhm.
She doesn't do a damn thing to help herself, not in the way she speaks and not in the way she acts.
She's one of those people everybody owes her,
Mm-hmm.
and they need to understand at all times where she's coming from.
Right, 100%.
I love when she said, well, I have feelings too. Whoa, hold on. You beat a dude with a ball bat. Diane Milgore, thank you. $2.
Thank
All
you.
right. That goes in the swear jar. Thank you, my friend. I mean, talk about crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, I have feelings too. Well, we don't get to bring our feelings to court.
Mm-hmm.
And we can't be so freaking crazy that we expect other people to accept our bad behavior because of how we were feeling.
Yeah.
That's the problem with the world.
State, do you recognize our jury?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense, do you recognize our jury? Members of the jury, you may be seated. Thank you. Members of our jury, good evening. I understand that you've come to a verdict in this case.
Yes.
If you could please hand the verdict form to the deputy, please. Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk, if you could please publish the verdict.
In the Circuit Court of the Ninth Judicial Circuit in Orange County, Florida, case number 2020 CF 2603, the state of Florida versus Sarah Boone. Heard. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of murder in the second degree as charged in the information. So say will, dated at Orlando, Orange County, Florida, on this 25th day of October 2024. The form has been signed by the court.
Madam Clerk, please poll our jury.
Juror seat number 1, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes, it is.
Juror seat number 2, is this your true and correct verdict? Yes, it is. Juror seat number 3, is this your true and correct verdict? Juror seat number 4, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror seat number 5, is this your true?
Uh-huh.
Okay, let's look at her with the pursed lips and looking down the Coca-Cola. She won't have that anymore. No more steak, no more puzzles, no more baked potato. Tiffany Crockett, my girl who brought this case to us, said goofy ass.
You know, how pissed is she? Like, she started to do that with her lips when that bloke, the one guy that was on the jury, was like, they were like, is this your true? And he was like, yes, it is. She's like, fuck.
Yeah, I think it was juror number 3 that said, yeah, this was a waste of my time.
Yeah, for real. He was so enthusiastic. He was the guy, like, during the trial that every time the judge was like, has everyone complied with the jury instructions during the break, his hand was up before the judge even opened his mouth, and the judge a couple of times was like, oh, I see this guy, he's got his hand up already, so everyone else, can you comply, say that you complied? Like, he was so enthusiastic. He was like, yes, let's get her out of here. No, she's guilty, I'm done. Like, literally, he was well going for her. She's got her lips like that because she knows. She's like, oh, I'll piss this guy off, man.
Oh, she knows her goose is cooked.
True and correct verdict? Yes. Juror seat number 6, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes, ma'am.
Members of our jury, again, I want to thank you for your time, your sacrifice, and your attention in this matter. I know that we spent almost 2 weeks together, and it was not taken lightly, and I really appreciate the time and the effort and the sacrifice that you put into this case. I want to advise you now of your final instruction. Members, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to thank you for your time and your consideration in this case. I also wish to advise you of some very special privileges enjoyed by jurors. No juror can ever be required to talk about the discussions that occurred in the jury room except by court order. For many centuries, our society has relied upon juries for consideration of difficult cases. We have recognized for hundreds of years that a jury's deliberations, discussions, and votes should remain their private affair as long as they wish it. Therefore, the law gives you a unique privilege not to speak about the jury's work. Although you are at liberty to speak to anyone about your deliberations, you are also at liberty to refuse to speak to anyone. A request to discuss either your verdict or your deliberations may come from those who are simply curious, from those who might seek to find fault with you, from the media, from the attorneys, or elsewhere. It will be up to you to decide whether to preserve your privacy as a juror. With that, members of the jury, again, I thank you for your service. I'm going to ask you to return to the deliberation room. I'll be back there shortly with your jury certificates, and thank you.
Go ahead.
Ms. Boone, the jury has spoken in this matter and has found you guilty of murder in the second degree. The court adjudicates you guilty of murder in the second degree. As this is your first felony conviction, you are entitled to a pre-sentencing investigation by the Department of Corrections. Mr. Owens, are you seeking that in this case?
Yes.
Okay. State, I will order the Department of Corrections to prepare the pre-sentencing investigation. State, for the purposes of sentencing, do you anticipate eliciting any testimony from, be it the victim's family?
2 or 3 victim impact statements, sir.
Okay. Mr. Owens, do you plan on presenting any evidence during the course of the sentencing hearing, sir?
Probably some testimony from Dr. Harper.
Okay. All right.
See, that bugs me a lot. That bugs me a lot.
Why on earth do they still have, maybe True Crime Beat can help us here. Why are they having a pre-sentencing investigation? There is not anything that this doctor is going to put pen to paper to that the judge is going to say, oh yeah, let her walk.
And not only that, but she gets to testify as well at the pre-sentencing hearing. So we have to hear more from her mouth. It bugs me because the way I understood it is because it's her first felony, she's entitled to a pre-sentencing investigation to basically give the judge an opportunity to hear all the mitigating reasons of why she shouldn't have to spend the rest of her life in jail. So she gets to tell them all about her mental health records. The doctor gets to stand up there and tell about how the anxiety is and how she's a battered woman. And she gets to stand up and talk about how she was the victim. This is going to really piss me off, this sentencing, Brooks. I already know it's going to piss me off, because how dare they, really? I know it's probably the law, but how dare they give her that opportunity while the victim's family is sat there to berate George anymore? She abused him in life and she's abusing him in death, and that's my opinion.
Well, I mean, that's her conscience. That's how she deals with it. It's disgusting.
They shouldn't allow it, though. I know they do allow it, and that's fine. It's not my law. It's not my country. But it bugs me that I'm going to have to sit there. And it bugs me that his family are going to have to sit there and listen to her stand up there and go, but I get so anxious when I'm in prison. And I don't even get a cheeseburger off my ex-husband and all this bullshit that she's coming out with. How dare they? I saw during that trial how she treated George. He doesn't deserve any more of your bullshit, Sarah. Sorry.
And it pisses me off that the two plea deals, and I don't know how it works in Florida because I don't live in Florida, but in Oklahoma, if you offer a plea deal to a defendant, the victim's family has to be on board for it. They were never presented with this deal.
No.
So I don't like that either. Because she has been given one gift after another.
Absolutely.
And hasn't taken any of them.
Right. And now gets the opportunity to stand up there in front of the victim's family, who are going to be there for the victim impact statements at the sentencing, and tell them again how abused she was and how much of an effect that George had on her mental health, and for everything he did to her and everything he said and all that bullshit that we've been going through for the last 4 years with her. She gets to spout it out again now, but in front of the victim's family again. I just think it's wrong, you know. I know I don't have a say in it, but it just really gets me in my feels. It gives me feelings, if you know what I mean.
I don't have a say in it either, and we have election day on Tuesday. And this is, of course, is off topic. You know, there's a judge locally to me who's going to be on the ballot that gave a sex offender 40 years probation as opposed to 40 years in jail. Well, that's going to be a big old fat no. I have had it with these judges, but Kranick is A-okay in my
Yeah, I get that, but she's been convicted. It's not like she's got an opportunity now to stand up there and be like, I'm guilty, but. They can't allow her to do that. It's not fair. She's guilty. She has to say, I'm guilty. I accept my punishment. I think I should be entitled to less time in prison because I was a bad woman. That's all I want to hear off of her. Not that I agree necessarily even that she was a bad woman, but I don't want to hear any more of that than that from her, because she doesn't deserve the platform anymore to have her voice heard. No more. She's convicted. She's guilty. And I bet she won't show one scintilla of contrition when she's up there testifying as to why she shouldn't have to spend so long in jail. She's going to have a 1,000-page letter ready to read out at that. Oh, someone take the internet away from me.
I'm telling you, it's just disgusting, you know, because we see this nastiness, and that's why so many people don't want it televised, because, you know, we're really furious with how things go on behind the scenes, you know. It's like, imagine watching your favorite movie and then seeing how it's made, and you're like going, You fucking kidding me? You
Was
did
that
this.
all just makeup?
You did all this with just makeup and a
With
computer.
CGI? Yeah, right.
I mean, it took like 500 takes to get that one scene.
It cost you
Screw
$2 million
this.
to make this movie.
Screw this. Yeah. And so that's always been like, I know several states have this where they're just like, no, we're not televising this. Not because we're hiding anything. You can certainly come in and watch it. But no, we're not putting it there for the masses to see, because people that have no skin in the game, as they say, are going to watch it, and then it creates more work for us. I see both sides. I totally see both sides.
I mean, I want to see the sentencing because I want I want to hear the impact statements, because I feel like George's voice does actually need to be heard, because throughout all of this, the family has only done one interview, and that was during the trial, and they went on, it might have been News Nation or like a news channel to do an interview. But realistically, George's voice throughout all of this has not been heard. He was put on trial during her trial more
Yes.
than she was, and he was not there to defend himself because she ended his life.
And she was allowed to sit there. Now I want everyone to absorb this. She was allowed to sit there and lie under oath.
Yep. And she was allowed to sit there and drag his name through the absolute mud with very, very, very thin evidence that it was all one-sided and that George was the only perpetrator. I mean, it was kind of galling to watch. It made you feel like throw up in your mouth, the things that she was saying about him. I don't know whether he was an angel. I don't know whether he ever laid hands on her or not. But I guarantee you that through the evidence that was shown, she was the main aggressor in that relationship the majority of the time. Because I didn't see any evidence the other way round, apart from a black eye that looked like it could have been drawn by a Sharpie and a bit of a rash and a scar from a knife that had gone into her leg. I mean, realistically, the stuff that she did to him, she shut him in a suitcase and beat it with a baseball bat and left him there to die.
And when he finally got his hand out, she beat that hand.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as that black eye, kiss my ass. That shit didn't happen. It's not even swollen.
Exactly.
You ever been hit in the eye? It looked
Yeah.
like makeup to me.
Mm-hmm. It looked like a black Sharpie had just drawn it on, like get a black felt tip pen and draw it on there.
They swell up so fast because of just, the tissue and what's going on around your optic nerves. Of course, it's not just like, oh, look, I got a little tiny bruise right here. I mean, no, that's insane.
Yep. Yeah, and I just think she doesn't
something with that. This is not the burning bed with Farrah Fawcett, okay?
Mm-hmm. The family deserve their time now to get up there and say how her actions have impacted them, and for that to be heard, and for George's story to be heard. That's why I want to watch the sentencing, because I want them to send her away for a really long time, and I want to hear their testimony. What I don't want to hear in the sentencing is her standing up there saying, you shouldn't really send me to jail for a really long time because I was a bad woman and George did all of these horrible, mean things to me, and my son's mean to me, and everyone's mean to me. I don't want to hear that shit. We've been hearing that shit for 4 years now. This is George's time to get his justice. There's nothing she should be allowed to say, in my opinion.
And if he doesn't deserve justice, this is the time to do it. But you can't do it with things like this.
Mm-hmm.
This shit didn't happen.
Right.
Okay? Right. This is called bad eyeshadow. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have some black eyeshadow somewhere. I could recreate that look in about 30 seconds, which is probably how long it took her to do it.
And it's only one eye? Come on. So yeah. He's that good of a shot? Come on.
Right.
And according to her, he's drunk all the time, can't keep his balance, always falling down, always blacking out, shitting himself on the couch. Come on, you're telling me a bruise is like just a perfect circle like a damn raccoon?
Right. Exactly. With no other wounds around the area. There's not even, like you said, there's no swelling. There's nothing else that would indicate that she has been hit in the face. And no, I'm not talking generally about people that are genuinely in that kind of abusive relationship. I just think she put him on trial, and it wasn't fair to him
No
because he
different
wasn't there.
colors. Bruises are not just black.
You see that video where she was saying to him, "You need to tell the judge that I'm the most loving person in the world," and he's going, "Yes, judge, she's a loving person, and you need to tell him that I'm the best. She's the absolute best." Like, she's telling him, make a video for the judge and tell them how amazing I am. Like, I was just like, "Oh, the fuck, you did what?" And you're expecting us to believe that you're a battered woman? Come on. You might have some backwater doctor fool, but you ain't fooling me. Hell no.
Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
How long do you think, state, that you would need?
You mean timing-wise, or are we thinking?
A quantum of time, sir. Yeah, well, normally it takes about 30 days or so. I'm confirming with Anita as to availability. I just want to know from your side of the ledger, how much time? Okay, 15 minutes. How much time do you think you're going to need to produce anything from your side of the ledger, sir? Mr. Owens?
I'd say 30 minutes.
Okay.
30 to 45.
So if we set this for an
45
hour,
minutes.
that would be sufficient.
Party agreed.
Okay.
State agrees.
Is that sufficient, Mr. Owens?
Yes.
Okay, all right, give me a moment.
45 minutes, and they want 15 minutes. So again, Sarah gets more time than the victim.
Ms. Barrios is checking. Just give us a moment. We can set this matter for 1:30 in the afternoon for sentencing on December 2. State, is that acceptable? It's a Monday.
I had a status hearing, but I'll make it work.
I can move it to later if necessary.
I'm co-counsel on it.
Okay, defense. Yes, sir.
Okay. Great point, Kat. Great point. Why would they be allowed more time than the judge allotted? Time is important in these cases.
Why would they give 45 minutes to the defense to plead a case to stop Sarah from having to go to jail for a really long time, and give 15 minutes for the victim's family to make their statements? That don't feel fair to me.
No.
That's just like, oh, ride roughshod over everything that the victims' families have got to say. You guys can have 45 minutes and you guys can have 15. Like, that don't feel right.
No, and I mean, I don't know how her family sat through this. Not her family, I apologize.
His family.
Yeah, I don't know how they sat through this. I mean, I don't blame them at all for getting up and walking out, because I would have been horrified. You know, and one thing we don't mention enough in this country is that men can be abused too.
Absolutely.
And I added George to this video, and Kat can tell you I make excellent videos.
You do. You're a stunning video maker.
They're the most beautiful, exceptional, perfect.
Yeah, beautiful, Judge. She's beautiful, exceptional, the best video maker in the whole world, Judge. You should totally listen to me.
So yeah,
Yeah,
George is with a class of women.
absolutely.
Hence why men don't complain to the police because they're thinking, I'm a man, I
Mhm.
should take care of this. But look at what was done to him.
Next is a video starting with 3BB0C. Metadata shows date modified 12/29, 12:36 p.m. of 2019.
Yeah. So you remember this. So you remember this. Are you drunk right now? How much alcohol did you drink?
Enough. You drunk?
You're slurring your words. You're sleeping up against the door right now.
Yeah, because I want to be next to you.
He said, because I don't want to sleep next to you.
Yeah.
I don't want to be around you. I mean, yeah, because I don't want to sleep next to you. He's a little dude.
hmm
I mean, really. He's
He
skin,
really is.
he's
He was,
skin and bone.
yeah. Well, they said he was 101 pounds when he was like at his autopsy. That's what he weighed. And at the beginning of the trial, they tried to say that Sarah was actually like tinier than him at only 100 pounds when the offence was committed. But then the arrest affidavit, when she was taken into the jail, like arrested on that day, she was 140 pounds, which is slightly different from fucking 100 pounds, right? So who was actually the bigger person? Not saying that weight has anything to do with it, but he was tiny. She wasn't.
Nicey Marie, I totally agree with you. She said, here, I think she's mad here because he drunk all her wine, in my opinion. Mentioned also about how she got mad when he drank all the vodka.
hmm Yeah, and interesting how she starts all of her videos with, so you remember this. This is what you do to me. So you know what you do to me. Like she does this, she videos him because she said in her trial that she wanted to use it as education for him the next day to teach him to be a better person.
Well, in 5 years or however long she was with him, don't quote me on that, she didn't teach him anything,
Nope.
but she still kept being around the toxicity between the two of them. Has anyone thought that the toxicity is Sarah herself?
Yeah, 100%. I could not sit through this video without knowing for 100% certain that regardless if he ever reacted or responded to her, she was the one that was abusing him, controlling him, dominating him, and making him feel freaking, oh, I don't know what the word is, where you emasculated. She emasculated him. She treated him like a child. All the way through the trial, she was like, I had to find something to entertain George with. We'd already done all of the puzzles and all of the art stuff. I was running out of things to entertain him with, like he's a child.
Yeah, what the hell is she doing? Listen, the dude's trying to get his drunk on and stay the hell away from her. He just wants to drink out of the jug. Okay, that's what he wants to do. He's not going to sit there and put together a 1,000-piece puzzle. That
Right.
takes people weeks to do. She makes it sound like she's some kind of Rubik's Cube genius, and she can put it together in 5 minutes. Oh, then we had a 1,000-piece puzzle. Listen, no, that's not going to work that way.
She thinks she's like a teacher or some kind of like she's treating him like he's a kindergarten pupil or student, and that she's his teacher. She needs to teach him how to do. But she said when he would do his artwork, you just kind of say, "Oh, isn't that amazing? I really love what you've done," and then you just close your eyes, George, and let it go. Like she's talking like she's a fucking teacher, and it's like you educate nobody. You aren't that special. You do not need to treat a fully grown ass man like a child. She's just emasculated him. She took away every shred of his dignity, every shred of his self respect. No wonder he liked to drink, to be fair.
Mm-hmm. Well, we heard that in Leilani's trial.
Mm-hmm.
And Danny's like, this is why I get fucked up. I don't want to deal with you.
Yep.
I mean, come on. You know, the dude just wants to watch TV, listen to some music, have some drinks and not be messed with. Nobody wants to sit there and do freaking puzzles with Sarah.
Isn't it?
Oh, let's have fun. I'm going to put you in the suitcase. Looking at this picture, now I understand how she got him in the suitcase. Okay?
Yep, he was tiny.
Him being that inebriated, I understand why he had problems getting out.
Mm-hmm.
Did I not tell you to not bother me?
Yes, ma'am.
So what is it you come up and do? What time is it right now? It's 1:20 a.m.
Okay, so at this point, she should have let him just go ahead and sleep against the door.
Uh-huh.
Or sleep on the couch or whatever. And what's extra messed up is that her ex-husband, Brian, is affording both of them this luxury of having the condo, going to get the Walgreens wine, and sitting around with not another dang thing to do except do puzzles.
And drink.
Yeah. Get your drink on. Exactly. And why would she even wake him up? If he's such a danger and he's sleeping, why wake him up and start filming him?
Because this is exactly how, in my opinion, this is how she was the whole entire time that they were together. She didn't wasn't the aggressor towards her. She was in his face with a camera, provoking the crap out of him 24/7. So that when he did actually try to defend himself, she calls it abuse, runs out on the street, starts screaming, and calls the police. When the police turned up at her house one time in one of the videos, she was like, "Oh, hello, officer. I'm so glad to see you. Can you come and sort out? He's in the house." Like, she's talking like she wants to jump the bones of the bloody police officer. I mean, this is crazy.
Mm-hmm. And she wouldn't take either of the two plea deals. Mm-mm. She really thought, she is such a straight A student from middle school, by the way, middle school, that she could talk her way out of all this. That is the problem with these people.
Yep. She thought everybody was going to see her as the victim, and there was not a damn person in the whole world, including in the courtroom, that saw her as the victim.
I haven't bothered you since then. I just go to sleep.
But didn't I tell you before at 9:30 to not bother me at all?
Yes.
Because why?
Yeah, I thought it was too long.
Nope. Because I've been up since 4 a.m. since yesterday when you fucked with me.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
He's subservient. He's subservient. Yes, ma'am. Look, he didn't really have a lot going for him. Okay. And so to have a place to crash and have a place to lay down and watch TV and all of this stuff, all he had to do was get along with her.
Placate her.
Yep, that's the word.
Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. 3 bags full, ma'am. Yeah. She was the aggressor, though, right? I mean, he was. Sorry, the aggressor.
Yeah,
in her world.
Like she said, he wanted to F her on the steak. She's sitting there being Susie Homemaker, making a steak. Do you want more sour cream on your baked potato?
Would you like me to cut your steak up into little pieces for you so you can eat it easier?
And
here comes the airplane.
And Brian has Lucas way more than she does. So why was he ever paying her alimony and child support?
Yep.
Why would he do that? When you're paying child support, it's because you support the child that lives with said person.
Yep.
This was just money to keep her from messing with him and his son. How clever. Does she have other kids than Lucas? No.
Thank God.
You know, and they still live there. Brian and Lucas do. I'm not saying look them up. I'm not saying go try to communicate with them. Not that you guys would. But her son and Brian have to live, go to school, work
Hmm.
in this environment with people knowing what they're one way or another attached to.
Yeah.
And that's beyond disgusting.
It's Lucas I feel the most sorry for, to be honest.
Oh, me too. Oh, me too. And George's children and his mama.
Yeah.
I know how much vodka was in that bottle. And what's the bottle now?
Kind of to throw it out.
What does that mean?
One more drink.
The bottle's empty. I know how much vodka was in there. And then for two people to have a really good time.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
And who drank it?
Okay, so he drank all the booze.
Yeah, enough for two people to have a really good time, but he drank it all instead. So what she's saying is now two people can't have a really good time because you just had a really good fucking time. So now I'm going to make sure that you're not going to have a really good fucking time. She's evil, like proper evil.
And this is because of the booze.
Uh-huh.
Well, can she not walk her ass somewhere to get more?
At 1:30 in the morning, you'd think she would rather just stay asleep than have to get out of her bed to go berate and drag her boyfriend in the hallway rather than just stay in bed and sleep like she keeps saying she wants to. Why
Yeah,
would you get up and go after him anyway?
But she wakes him up to have a confrontation.
Wakes him up to have a confrontation about vodka that she wasn't even going to be able to drink because according to her, she was asleep anyway. So why don't you just stay in bed and deal with it the next day?
And she's
Leave
like,
him to sleep.
this has been going on since 9:30 p.m. It's now, do you know what time it is? Does she see a watch on him or a cell phone? It looks like he's got a bracelet on. Look at that. Cindy's back. Hey, Cindy. We missed you, baby. Yeah, what an insane thing to do.
It's cruel as well. I'm sorry, but this to me is pure gaslighting, narcissistic abuse from her to him. That's exactly what it is. She got herself up. She walked into the hallway. She went and checked the bottle of vodka. She woke him up where he was all right. He was sleeping against the door. Was he hurting her? Was he bothering her? She got up to make herself bothered so that she could film this video. So that he could remember how he treats her the next day when she shows him the video.
Oh, and I guarantee she did.
Oh, I bet she did as well.
I guarantee it. Miss K said she's Kathy Bates in Misery.
Yeah.
He's a raging alcoholic. Now, listen, a lot of people have a drink here and there, or they have a drink every time they get home from work, or they're like, they need a drink just to get the damn groceries unloaded. But they don't do these things.
Right.
You see, the booze didn't put him in the suitcase, take it down the stairs, and start beating it with a bat. She has a rage problem, in my opinion.
100%.
And it comes from entitlement, her feelings. Let's not forget about her feelings.
Oh, could we ever forget about her feelings? My God.
Yeah, gotta have her feelings. This is how I feel. That's why she's in jail right now, bitching about alimony and cheeseburgers.
Eek.
And that's without the alcohol. Think about that. She's not drinking in the jail. She's as sober as Krennic. But she still has that mentality. You can remove the booze. You can remove the drugs, but they're still the same person.
Yeah.
Want it to be documented. that I'm leaving you, which means that you're getting out. You're getting out. You're getting out.
Nobody's leaving nobody. Stop.
And the reason why you were even downstairs and weak enough to get drunk was because you don't give a shit about me. You don't listen to what I say. Special things that I keep on my front page of my phone so I remember to tell you about it because of how special and fun it is.
He's a better person than me because no way would I get woke up saying, I don't want to lay by you. And I'm sitting there being berated, drinking someone's hooch. I'd have come uneffing glued. I'd have been like, I'm out of here, bitch.
Well, according to Sarah, every single time he drank, he was abusive to her. And she was scared, and all the time. Every time he was drunk, she was scared of him. She don't seem very scared of him right now, and he's obviously drunk as a skunk, and she's not the slightest bit scared. She's standing there reading him the riot act.
And nobody is going to confront someone that they're really scared of.
And especially not in this manner. You know, you're not going to go up to a person that when they're drunk, you're terrified of and start being like, why did you do this? Why I'm leaving you. I'm going. You're this. You're a piece of shit. You smell all of this stuff. If you're genuinely scared of him, my God, this is what done it for the jury. Even if they weren't moved by the video, by the suitcase videos, they saw this and they were like, she's full of shit. Battered spouse syndrome, my ass. He's the one that battered spouse syndrome, in my opinion.
He's in the fetal position, basically, with his head down.
He don't want to hurt her. He don't want to upset her. I've got a feeling through watching some of these videos in the trial that he actually loved the bones of her. He'd do anything to keep her happy. He wasn't abusing her. It was the other way round. But because he wasn't there to talk up for himself and defend himself at the trial, he ended up getting put on trial.
And that's a very sad thing when a victim is allowed to be, put through the ringer like that.
Absolutely.
And it happens in every case where adults are involved. They do. Some people call it victim shaming. Some people call it a defense. I think about the case of Savannah Spurlock out of Kentucky. If anyone remembers that would be a good throwback Thursday. She had just recently had twins. Okay. And she decided to get out for the night. She left with 3 dudes and they went to this house. There was some sexy sex going on. Okay. No stake involved, consensual between the adults. But when she told the third one, no, he killed her, wrapped her up in a rug, and buried her.
Oh, shit.
And she was reported missing. Well, they really tried to drag her name, but it comes down to it. You don't get to do that.
Yeah, well, that was the bare bones of this case as well, because ultimately you can unfortunately be a battered woman. You can be the one that was, abused in a relationship if that's what happened, but that's still at the point where you are in a situation where your boyfriend's in a suitcase. He has no ability to get himself out, which is quite clear. You don't have the right to beat him with a bat and then leave him there and go to sleep. If you're terrified, he is going to get out of the suitcase. You don't go upstairs and go to sleep. That none of this case made sense. And ultimately, being a battered spouse in a situation where you have to defend yourself is a legal defense. In a situation where you're triggered because you see his hand coming out of a suitcase and you think he might bust out and kill you, does not give you the right to take the life of that person in that circumstance. And that's what this boiled down to ultimately.
100%. 100%. Self-defense is it's outlawed. It's not outlawed. It's outlined for us. Like we have the castle law saying, hey, If someone breaks in my house, guess what?
Mhm.
I have every right to defend my home.
Yep.
And defend myself. He was in a suitcase.
Yeah, he couldn't get out. And even if he could get out, and she thought he could actually get out, because she kept saying that, I thought he could get out. I thought he could get out. Then if you really seriously thought he was going to kill you when he did get out, why did you go upstairs and go to sleep? Because if he got out of the suitcase, as you imagined that he would, and he'd already threatened to kill you, which is why you started hitting him with a baseball bat, why'd you go sleep in the same house as him then? You know, it don't make sense. Her story does not make sense.
If you're that scared and you're an adult, now listen, there are some people, men and women,
Yeah.
they're conditioned to the abuse and they're
Mhm.
just saying, well, tomorrow will be a better day. I
Mhm.
don't want to get into it. I don't want to get into it. This was not the case because he obviously was in a suitcase and couldn't get out.
Mhm. And
Now,
she said
had
by
she maybe, I mean, maybe it was the alcohol. Maybe she planned it. It seems to me that she planned it.
I really kind of wish that they would retry her for first-degree murder now, to be honest with you. With everything that's come out before, since, and during the trial, I kind of feel like they'd have a pretty good case for first degree at this point.
Now, I'm no psychiatrist, okay? But I remember histrionic being brought up with
Uh-huh.
Amber Heard
Mhm.
and Leilani Simon.
Yep.
It seems to me that Sarah fits that bill too because she seems to think in her mind she's better than what she is.
Oh, histrionic is usually really demonstrative, which Sarah is. You know, you can't just say, I'm upset. You have to show the whole world that you're upset. Tell the whole world, demonstrate on every level how upset you are. That is what histrionic is. And Sarah fits that to a T. She absolutely does. She can't just say, oh, I'm feeling quite angry with you in this situation. She has to film it and do what she's doing now. You are this, you are this, you make me feel this way, you make me feel this way. I'm going to do this so you remember what you've done to me. All of this is histrionic, like to an absolute T. And I'm not a psychiatrist either, but I do know a lot about different personality traits. And this is histrionic to a T.
You work in that field.
I do work in that field, yeah.
And the fact that she lies about things, her accomplishments, things that never happened.
Well, that is very much narcissistic. Narcissism and histrionics can go together like hand in glove. They're
Okay.
almost like two peas in a pod. So narcissism is always that I am great and you are a piece of shit and you're going to learn how great I am. So histrionics fits quite nicely with that in some respects because it's, let me show you how great I am. I'm going to show you how great I am by showing you my pain that you inflicted upon me. It's all this very dramatic, outgoing, expressive kind of behavior. And the two things go together generally really well in that respect.
Well,
two personality traits.
We can go to, I mean, a video I've shown on here many times about volatility in these relationships.
Drive a narcissistic person in a relationship are power, control, and domination. And the narcissistic person uses the relationship as a source of validation. If those needs are not being met or cannot be achieved, that is a contributor to the volatility of these relationships.
The volatility. Now, in your studies and what you do at work, what do they say about volatility when someone doesn't get their way and they're not treated the way that they want to be treated? I'm not saying that it's always going to happen like this.
Well, I think one of the things is that if you do have really, I mean, they said in the trial several times she has narcissistic traits. I mean, if I was a doctor, which I'm not, I would be diagnosing her with some kind of severe narcissism because she basically she uses gaslighting is one of her hugest kind of things. So not only is she upset, not only is she disturbed, not only is she in her feelings, but everybody else needs to know that they caused her to feel that. That was their fault. She's transfers it straight back onto them. And the volatility is that toxicity of always being the one that has to be the victim. And you have to see how much of a victim I am. There's like no other thing that they can comprehend apart from the fact that their pain is greater than yours and you are the one that caused their pain, and you have to learn how much it affects them when you behave this way. It's an real extreme over exaggeration of everything, and she fits that perfectly.
It is, and I love how you phrase that, because for one, you have a gorgeous voice. I can't do it. Let me try to talk like Kat. No, I can't do it. So, has anyone in here ever felt like a dumbass? Said the wrong thing? We've done the wrong thing, and we have to say, wow, I really screwed the pooch on that one.
Mm-hmm.
See, like people like Sarah, they won't back down.
No.
They're going to continue and continue and continue to talk about how they feel and how, hey, it's one thing to say I did this because, but I was wrong. I shouldn't have overreacted. But she continued to just double down and won't stop.
She won't. And I think that's been evident through every letter she wrote to every judge leading up to this trial in the last 4 years, in the alimony paperwork that's now come out online, in every video she made about all of documenting her life with George over the last however many years that we saw in court. Every single one of these, she is doubling down on the fact that she does nothing wrong and everybody else in the world causes these problems for her. Brian caused the problems for her. In one of the letters, she talks about how Lucas is causing the problems for her and being mean to her on the phone. George caused the problems for her. George's family caused the problems for her. Her lawyers caused the problems for her. She will never, never, never take accountability. And that's another reason why I'm so afraid at this hearing that they're going to have, the sentencing hearing, that she will just try to command the room with all of her victimhood all over again, because she's never going to admit any responsibility for this, which is why she was so shocked when that verdict came in, because she was the only person that was not expecting it to happen, because she still believes that she was not in the wrong and that she did nothing wrong.
And by the way, I totally believe her attorney, which by the way, he got, I mean, free publicity. Okay. Free publicity. He did. I mean, his phone is ringing off the hook.
Yeah, I guess you've got to weigh up free publicity with the outcome of the trial, though, to some extent. I mean, he hasn't covered himself in glory in terms of, you know, getting her off or anything like that. He really tried to hammer the family by trying to call for a mistrial, which I think was really quite sick. It sort of turned your stomach a little bit, because they were evidently upset. And he's like, oh, no, you know, this can't happen in a courtroom. I demand a mistrial, like all of this kind of stuff. He didn't really cover himself in glory. And to be honest with you, I don't think he probably got out of it what he was hoping to, having closed down his own law firm for 2 months or whatever it was, to fully focus on her case. I think he bit off a little bit more than he can chew. And I wonder actually if he'll still be her attorney at the time of the sentencing even. Because I bet she's pissed with him. Because now it's going to be his fault that she's in prison.
I promise she's already saying that. I promise she is.
Yeah.
And even though the judge, because he knows that the number one ground for appeal is ineffective counsel. He knows that. He's the judge. So he would ask her all the time, are you happy with old boy sitting over there? Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely. In my opinion, Kranick crossed every T and dotted every I.
100%.
It doesn't mean she's not going to get her chance to an appeal, because she will. Absolutely, she will. But it's not going to get her anywhere in a hurry. She better get ready to go get her 37 cents, not dollars, 37 cents an hour in the sewing room, making shoes, making car tags, working in the laundry. She better just get ready to do that.
I got a feeling she's going to try and get herself put in psych, to be honest with you.
Well, that can't happen because they didn't run a goofball defense. They didn't run a.
They
tried. They tried, but remember the case at Cash Gurnan. That guy is still the schizophrenic that killed Cash Gurnan. He is still in a mental health hospital until they can get him ready to stand trial. That's how the state of Texas does it.
Will they not in the prison, will they not have like a psych unit in there where she gets to just live off medication and stuff and have a good life? Is that not an option? No. Okay. We get that in UK prisons. You just get people that are like, oh, fuck Gen Pop, I'm going in psych. And then they'll kick off until the point where they just get put in psych. And then they don't have to do anything except for take medication and sleep all day, you know?
Well, I mean, where she's at, she's in county right now. She won't get moved to the women's prison until after her sentencing.
Yeah.
And so it won't be, I mean, they'll give her things in county, obviously, if she needs them. Sophia, my goodness. Thank you so much. She's gifted 2 Crime Lines and Lies memberships.
Thank you.
Let's watch it rain, baby. Let's watch it rain. And look at that. Paper cut. Gifted a Crime Lines and Lies membership. Who is the lucky person? Look at that. Amber Rain Concrete Flatfoot with a stroke eye was gifted a membership by Paper Slut. Now, listen. Stroke eye. That's what I'm going to call it from now on. Your stroke eye. I'm not making fun of anyone having a stroke. It's just a long name. You have been gifted something that you don't even know what to do with. Your ass needs to get in here right now and tell Paper Slut thank you, because he does not part with his money easily.
It's a great name.
Yeah, I'm loving it. We're a stroke eye. Can someone get stroke eye? All right. Sorry, I'm off topic again.
That's okay.
To me, this video sealed the deal.
Yeah, I agree. Even like I said earlier, even if they the jury sat through the suitcase videos unmoved, which I don't believe they did, having seen this video and the other one where she's telling him what to say to the judge, these 2 videos were the final nail in Sarah Boone's coffin. Whether she likes it or not, this is the truth. This is truly who Sarah Boone is in these videos, in my opinion.
That's exactly who she is. And in this video, you can tell she's not inebriated. In the other video, she's like, that's why I'm extra.
She's fully extra.
He had like a ton
of... One true thing she ever said was that she's extra.
Yeah, it's like she had like a ton of bubble gum in her mouth. But if Letitia Stout, who is crazier than a shithouse rat, can't get special treatment in the jail in Kansas, Sarah does not have a snowball's chance in hell.
Oh, I'd give anything to be a fly on the wall in the prison cell with her. Like, I literally would give anything, because I think she's going to be a handful and a half.
Are you kidding me? She's going to be like Betty Broderick. Holy shit. That woman, she commands the whole jail. And she shot her ex-husband and his new wife point freaking blank. She broke into their home. And shot him up in bed. And when they tried to call for help, she unplugged the phone.
Wow.
And she did everything she could. She's a lot like Sarah. That's going to be another Throwback Thursday.
I always bother you. I always bore you. You don't listen to me. Yesterday was my first day at work, remember? And I ended up 90% hearing about your day and 10% about mine.
You don't bother me or anything. So sometimes you just you overwhelm me. That's the problem, you overwhelm me.
By telling you about my first day at work?
No, dude, you just overwhelm me about every other thing too. Not just, first day at work.
So I'm overwhelming you by telling you about the fourth highest paid baseball player. That's a client of ours.
I'm not.
All lies. The bitch was working at a gas station.
Mm.
Okay? She's not managing athletes. Okay? She was making some scratch at the gas station.
Yeah.
No offense to anyone working at the gas station. It's a great job, especially in this economy. Hell, they probably pay you $20 an hour now. Have at it. I absolutely love our convenience stores. But she's like, by telling you? No, this bitch was just sitting there playing on her phone and came back to tell him how great she was doing.
Yeah.
She's managing the fourth highest paid baseball player. How could Sarah do that when she's living off of Brian and
Right.
she got George in the corner?
And he's saying, you overwhelm me. You overwhelm me. He said that at least twice, and he said it really clearly. What he's saying is, please stop provoking me right now. I just want to sleep. You'd be better off just go back to your own bed, go to sleep. We'll sort it out tomorrow. He's trying to placate her, but she's just not having it. She's making herself more and more and more and more and more important. Like,
But that's her. That's her
yeah.
mind. Look at the story. She said, "Oh, hold on, Diana Howery." She said, "Am I blocked?" No, I can
No.
see you. No, we see you, girlfriend. Everyone say hi to Diana.
Hi, Diana. We wouldn't ever block you.
No way. No. And Paper Slut, are you in here flirting? What are you doing? He just gifted 5 Crime Lines and Lies memberships. Thank you, Paper Slut.
Wow. She almost like seems like she needs some kind of ticker tape parade every day of her life, or she needs some kind of like, I know, barbershop quartet to come in and sing a song about how great she is every 5 minutes. Like, she seriously has got ideas of grandeur, like ideas of herself that are way above what everybody else sees of her or thinks about her.
No, not at all. No. Hold on. Hound Lover said Brooks isn't a creator that is block happy. I have
No.
seen many of them. What does that mean? What does
That
block?
means that you don't get happy by blocking people. Like it, we don't do that around here.
Oh
We're
God,
not
no.
that kind of channel.
Lord, no. If you get blocked around here, you had to. No. I think we have like 2 people blocked right now.
Mm-hmm. Is one of them still Peanut? I miss that guy.
Who?
Peanut. Peanut.
You mean Potato? The one that
Oh,
used to call,
Potato. Yeah, sorry, Potato. Yeah.
yeah, he used to call me racist all the time. No,
Yeah.
I actually miss Potato.
Yeah,
Look
I
at
miss
that.
him too.
Angel P just donated 5 Crime Lines and Lies memberships. Y'all are making me blush.
Wow. We got a new family coming home. Yay.
New family. We got to have a members live soon.
Sounds good.
And remember, the memberships are $1.99.
Starstruck.
I don't even know who the guy is.
I don't need.
So the reason why, so you fully admit now that you didn't care and you did brush me off in the car, midway sentence, because you're not into baseball.
No, I didn't. I'm just saying.
I want to go to sleep. Go downstairs.
Yeah. I know.
I'm leaving you, and I'm going to try and cancel plane tickets.
No.
Because I don't do special things for people like you that are doing this, like, to me, after I asked you at 1:21 in the morning. I wanted to be asleep. I wanted to stay asleep, which is why I got into bed at 8:30. I told you not to step foot in the bedroom. So what do? Nonetheless, you're drunk. The amount of alcohol, I know how much was up. I know how much was in there. That's why I could smell you in the bed before you actually got me up. I can smell you from here. You're despicable.
I'm not despicable. I'm not even doing anything.
Leave me alone.
Okay.
You're not gonna remember shit. Okay,
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm not doing nothing right now.
get away from me. Get away from me.
She's nowhere near you.
He's in the corner. He's having,
Right.
you can see he's having some issues getting up.
Yeah.
My husband's arms are bigger than his legs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mermaid said, cherry piss. Oh, how I miss them.
I miss them too.
Come back around. Look at that. I'm telling you, this guy he doesn't really have very much nutrition. Okay. He couldn't beat himself out of a wet paper sack, let alone a suitcase.
Right.
We've seen those commercials where the Samsonite suitcase is all over the airport. It goes down the escalator. They throw it off a building. You can't break them.
Mm-hmm.
But he managed to get his hand out. And what did Sarah do? She grabs the ball bat and starts hitting him in the hand.
After she'd violently shaken that suitcase, as she described it when she was on the stand, I shook it. I was shaking it and shaking it, saying, stop doing this to me. Stop doing this to me. They said, did that make his hand go back in? She said, no. So what did you do then? I picked up the baseball bat. What did you do with the baseball bat? I was prodding at it. I was just poking him, trying to get his hand to go back in the suitcase. Liar, you were beating his hand. That's why he had bruises all over him. You beat the suitcase. Like, but yeah, you're going to violently shake a suitcase and beat the hand of the man that's trying to get out, thinking that he can get out and hurt you, in your own words. And then you're going to leave him there and go to bed. Even after the, why am I still so angry about this? Even after the verdict, I'm still angry about it.
I am too, because I'm afraid of what's going to happen in the pre-sentencing. I really am. But I don't think Cranick's going to put up with it.
No, I don't either. I
believe that he has dotted every I and crossed every T.
Stellar judge. Absolutely stellar judge. I really, really rate him. I'd vote for him if I lived there.
Oh, I would vote for him too. I don't know if he's going to be on True Crime Beat's ballot, but I know a couple judges I'm not going to vote for around here. Screw those judges. God. You know, like Will Rogers used to say, all politics are local. I get so sick of people fighting back and forth about president and vice president. Like, just shut it up. Look at who's running your community. They'll deal with their asses.
Yep. It starts in your own backyard anyway, doesn't it, ultimately?
Yep. And I'm just as guilty of it, my friend. I get into it sometimes, and I have learned not to do it.
Oh, hell, I talk about it, and I don't even live there.
You do everything to me all the time. All the time. Heartache and pain is what you cause me. Heartache and pain.
Okay.
Keep going. And I dare you. I dare you. I dare you. You get on your fucking little bike and go to fucking work tomorrow. Don't look at me. Don't come close to me. Don't touch me. Do you understand?
What do you mean?
As of this moment, and until I can get you out,
Get the fuck out of here.
I dare you. Yep, look at it.
Okay, so she's saying he didn't ask to fuck her on a stake there. She's like, get on your little bike and you better get to work tomorrow. Remember when she got so upset at the Publix when his card didn't work and she had to use his card and she beat him with the potatoes?
Yep.
But she's like, get on your little bike until I can figure out how to get rid of you.
Yep.
Actually, that would be easy to do at this juncture. She could call 911 and say, he's not welcome here.
Mm-hmm.
Not his mailing address. He pays no bills here. And you can actually hear her giggling a little bit, like she's enjoying this.
She's getting off on it. It's like a complete fulfillment of her, what she needs for herself, because she's just controlling the whole situation. She's controlling him. She's being the aggressor towards him in every part of this video. I don't care that he came towards her at the end of the video. She'd been standing there provoking him for 20 minutes. I'm sorry to say, but you don't get to be the victim when you stood there and put your face and confronted someone to that extent. You do not then get to say that you were the victim.
No, does not work that way.
Nope.
Not at all.
Wait, get away from me. Get away from me. Get away from me. I'm gonna scream bloody murder. I'm gonna scream bloody murder.
I'll scream bloody murder.
I will scream bloody murder. Get away from me.
Nobody's doing anything.
I'm gonna fucking hurt you.
Nobody's doing anything. And you're filming it.
Let me go.
Nobody's doing anything.
I'm asking you, George, to get away from me. Please get away from me.
Who started this? Who started it?
Woke him up.
Exactly. And this, I imagine, this is every single argument they ever had. This is exactly how it was. She provoke and provoke and provoke and provoke and provoke and provoke. And then she'd stand there going, he's hurting me! He's touching me! Get him off me! Call the police! Like, this is bullshit. This is crazy bullshit. She is an instigator. She's an aggressor, an instigator, and she started it every single time, in my opinion.
Oh, I don't think the dude really had any love for her at all. He found a place to crash. And no, I'm not trying to disparage his memory. He just wanted to have whatever drinks were around there, get on his bicycle, go to work, and have somewhere to crash at night. But when she found out there was no more hooch in the bottle, she'd come unglued. It reminds me of Dawn and Candace Wells.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when Candace didn't have any cigarettes and she came unglued?
Yeah. Oh, fuck. I just can see this scenario being the case 9 times out of 10. Whether it was ever the other way around, I don't know. I wasn't there. But in my opinion, watching these videos, all I see is her going at him and then her standing on that stand being like, I was afraid all of the time. He came at me all of the time. He evidently did not come at you all of the time, because if someone was coming at you all of the time, you don't stand there provoking them on camera to make them come at you. You don't do that.
No. I do wonder what really went on the night that he died that pushed her over that edge. And I do not think it was domestic violence. Was it money? Was it money? Was it... I mean, obviously he was drunk enough to think it would be a fun thing to put for him to get into the suitcase. Hence why she was offered all these plea deals. Because he's an active participant. Okay? He is.
What I don't understand is, as she kept on saying it all started off as a laugh, he got in there, they were laughing and joking, she zipped it up, they were laughing and joking, she spun it round a couple of times, they were laughing and joking. But the first video you see is of her doing exactly what she's just done here and sitting on the couch going, for everything you do to me, for every time you choke me, for every time. And what caused that switch? Because it went from all being fun and him happily jumping into a suitcase and her happily zipping it up to her being in a position where suddenly now she's a psycho. I think she was a psycho from day one.
I don't think it takes much to put her over the edge.
Mm-hmm. Those texts, I don't know if you saw the part of the trial. I know you said you caught up on it. Do you know the text messages that she was sending saying that she's going to, what is it? She said, I'll get rid of him, she said. And then another one where she said, hide and seek, I must. or I will, or something like that.
Mhm.
Like this to me, that was evidence of premeditation to a lesser or bigger extent. She wanted rid of him one way or another. And it accidentally so happened that he was in a suitcase. She beat the suitcase and she thought, oh, that's it. I'm done with that now. He's not making any more noise. I'm going to go to bed. That's
Yeah,
premeditation.
it is, but sadly impossible to prove.
Mm-hmm.
Get away from me.
Yeah, I am. That was your function, dude. Malfunction. No, your malfunction is you, dude.
Okay, whatever you say.
Your malfunction is you.
Whatever
That's
you say.
100% right.
Holy shit, the whole hallway just reeks of you up here. First it's shit, now it's alcohol. Don't step foot in this bedroom. I can't even breathe. Like, it's disgusting. Like, it's disgusting.
Keep filming when it's looking like. Good night, Sarah. Love you.
I don't love you. I don't like you. I don't want to be with you.
That's what did it for her.
Next video starts 456. That's the only file that starts with that. Date modified metadata 12/29/2019, 4:04 p.m.
And I'm not gonna have no Hindenburg situation, no Titanic situation, okay? So it's gonna be a good day. Yes, I'm missing my mustache right now. And later on, everything's gonna go off. Truth, facts. Truth and facts. All of this is gonna be missing later on. We'll take another video again later on when it happens. Love y'all, whoever watches this video.
No, that's not approved.
The FDA says it's approved.
So it's gonna be a good day all day.
Yes, it is. Even when
All day.
I shave all of this
All
off.
day.
Yes. Even when I shave all of this off.
All day.
It's gonna be an amazing day.
It's what time right now?
Shaboing
I
boing.
would say 9:30. 7 o'clock maybe.
Shaboing boing. That's what we're doing later on. Shaboing boing. You can stop filming now.
Not good enough.
It's gonna be a great day. Today's a great day to have a great day. Boom. Cut. Somebody come in with the. Can somebody come in with the? Can you not?
Next file is image_093.mov. Metadata date modified 1/3/2020, 2:48 p.m.
It's somebody started cheating on an app and not to play with it. Cause I told him that I'm just gonna go to shit.
Next file is img_0975.mov. Metadata shows date modified January 19th, 2020, 2:58 p.m.
Time.
sirens, 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 sirens. Sirens and sirens and sirens. And this cop car.
How about you get an umbrella and call me Camille or anything?
You know, how about we forget about that? No, we won't.
I'll never read.
How about we keep going on?
Okay, obviously there's a problem here because this seems to be a little earlier in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And they're already having a go at it.
Yeah. Yeah, they were alcohol dependent, both of them.
Of course. And she just continues to record him and record him and record him. That's what I think the premeditation is.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I can't prove it. I'm not the district attorney because they weren't even going to try for that. They're not going to sit there and tell the jury, hey, we think that she was recording all this for premeditation. But there was nothing for her to get out of it. It's not like there was money involved or anything. Right. It's not like she had alimony or I can't figure out what exactly, why didn't she just say, go, dude? I don't want you around anymore. We don't own a home together. We don't have children together.
Because she then would lose the person that was easy for her to control and dominate and be the powerful one. So it makes, the more she has power over him, the more powerful it makes her feel, which is directly linked to her narcissistic histrionic behavior. She needs someone there all the time. Has to be someone. It doesn't matter who it is, but he was the kind of person that unfortunately she was able to have that control over. She's an abuser. She needs him there for that purpose. She has someone to dominate, someone to make her feel better about herself by dominating him.
So hence why she gets the guy that doesn't have a car,
mm-hmm.
doesn't have his own place to live.
Mm-hmm.
So she's the perpetual victim.
Yeah. So she can basically use him to make herself feel better and for all of the reassurance and love and attention and kind words and all of that kind of stuff that he would say to her just made her feel better about herself. It's kind of like, I need someone there, doesn't matter who it is, as long as they're complimenting me. Because she even said that on the stand. He complimented me. He made me feel like I was an amazing person. I was just trying to teach him to be a better person. Like, the fuck you were.
Mm-hmm. And she has a phone. He doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like in his inebriated state or whatever else that was going on, he could call the police.
Mm-hmm. He never called the police on her. Not one time.
But she had someone there, almost like a puppy dog in a way.
She treated him as the way she spoke to him was like you would speak to a dog. And the way she treated him was the way you would treat a very, very small child.
Uh-huh.
Neither of those things are about anything other than power in her mind and being the top dog, the top person that everyone loves and respects and looks up to and excels at everything. And here's the proof. Look at this effeminate young boy that I have brought up from the gutter and turned him into someone that I can say that I would be proud of if only he would stop shouting at me and being mean to me.
And he's a tiny little thing, right?
Mm-hmm. She kept it that way.
And she can handle her booze better than him. That goes without saying.
Yeah.
Okay, how about this? When beautiful Lucas is here, we don't listen to none of that. I don't want to hear sirens. It's just beep, 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 all that, whatever. I don't want to listen to that. It's every single day. beeping we hear enough of it out here in reality.
Are you gonna be nice tonight?
Yes. Yes. I promise you. I used to
Go for a walk.
by myself.
Yes.
No.
Go for a walk.
No, I'm just gonna chill out.
Go for a walk.
Just chill out. So much like this.
Don't ever be a woman.
How can I be a woman?
Don't ever.
I can't. But I can. Some will understand.
Okay, what is this then? Be a woman?
Don't be a woman.
Don't be a woman. Okay.
Ever.
Go for a walk.
I can somewhat understand. Somewhat understand. I can somewhat understand, yes, where you're coming from. But when you have a child and it's like right now, this is too much. But we had a blast with them. Amazing.
Then you got out of sorts and pushed me, and he stole my phone and called Brian.
Why is it that I got out of sorts?
You pushed me.
I pushed you. I didn't push you. How do I get out of sorts all of a sudden? I don't want to hear it.
You drink too much and you're upset.
Drink too much.
Go get your fucktard shit.
What are you talking about?
Your retard paper.
Woo! She's so classy. You're fucktard shit. You're fucktard shit. If I think someone's a fucktard, whatever that means, they're not going to harass me. They're not going to intimidate me. They're certainly not going to try to F me on a steak. They're just not. It's not going to work that way. This is lunacy is what this is just total lunacy. And I hate to say it, I don't want to see bad things happen to anyone, but I mean, I'm glad she's going to be put away for a very long time.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I'm just watching this, imagining like anyone speaking to their other half like this, whether they're male or female. Anyone treats another person like this, how the hell do you think the other person's going to feel? I mean, she's master gaslighter. It's like, I think Just Me just said, it's gaslighting 101. Go for a walk. Go for a walk. Go for a walk. You're causing me all this trouble. You're making all this problem. Don't be a woman. Go for it. I don't fucking speak to people like that, love. Honestly, I really hope when she goes to prison that there are women in there. Well, I especially hope there's Puerto Rican women in there, because I think George was from Puerto Rico, who'll get their own back on her. But I mean, someone that's going to dominate her for once and make her actually realise that she's not this hot shit thing that she considers herself to be, because she's a piece of shit, man.
Oh, she is, but she thinks she's something else, but that's in her mind. No one else thinks this of her.
She hasn't met bitches in prison yet.
Her family, her son, obviously her ex-husband. I really think all the money from Ryan was just to keep her at bay so she wouldn't bother
him. It
Or
would surprise me. It's like Anything for a Quiet Life. I don't kind of blame Brian for that in that respect, because if this is how she was treating him, which by the way it is, because I've seen the alimony letters that she's been writing to the judge in that case.
She treated Brian this way too.
Yeah, 100%.
She just couldn't get him drunk enough to prove a point.
Well, and also it seems to me that Brian wasn't as I don't want to use the term pussy whipped because that's the wrong terminology, but he wasn't beaten into submission by her, whereas George unfortunately seems to have been so broken down by her that he's ended up being a weak, physically weak person. And I think she lavished on that. She was like, look what I've made you, you know. In her mind, that made her
has a career. He's got a sense of responsibility.
Yeah.
he has a drive in life that
Right.
Jorge, George did not have. And again, I'm not disparaging the dead.
No, me
That's
either.
the difference.
No.
Don't hit women.
Have I hit you? No. So where are you going with this?
I'm trying to resolve.
Tell me whatever else that you have off. Okay. You can film me, take a picture of whatever you want.
You can tell you're automatically
I'm not doing.
Do I ever get a bite? No, I don't.
I'm not doing anything to you.
No, I
Sarah.
never do.
I'm not doing anything to you, Sarah.
That's my name. Don't wear it out.
Sarita.
Oh, get over yourself.
I'm not doing anything to you.
He's literally not doing anything to her. Not at all.
Yeah, and she's like, he goes, Sarita. Because, I mean, he's speaking, obviously, in a different language. And she's like, that's my name. Don't wear it out. Well, I mean, I think we can see how she got the guilty verdict.
Yeah, because then she's trying to say on the stand that she's scared of him all the time, and especially when he drinks. Every time he drinks, she cowers, she's frightened, she knows what's going to happen to her. And then they show the videos where he's drunk and he's doing nothing, and she's sitting there going, don't hit me, don't touch me, get away from me, get away from me. He's not doing fucking anything to you.
He's like, I'm just sitting here, you woke me up. But it's like, you can't be a victim and a hero.
Right.
I mean, I guess there's some scenarios where I've seen it, a victim becomes the hero, but not in this situation at all.
They were talking all the way through this trial about how she's the battered woman, and how men, the other lawyers, the prosecution, were saying, men can be battered spouses too, men can be battered too. And he was like, women who go through this, they should never have hands laid on them by their man. It's like, hello, I think he was the battered partner. If I'm honest, I don't see any response from him or anything from him that would show me that he ever laid a hand on her at this point. Only her word for it. He was the battered spouse, not her.
Well, I think a good 18 more years in jail might chill her out.
Well, I don't know, because I think she's going to get sat on day one. I really hope she does anyway. She's going to get sat on by a woman who really does weigh like 650 pounds. And they probably sit on her face, and she'll never fucking be able to speak again. She's going to lose her power completely when she's in prison.
She's
going to dominate anyone.
She's already lost her power. That's the reason she writes these ridiculous letters to Judge Wooten, to Kranick. That's the reason she went through that whole galley of attorneys, because she has to be in control.
I do actually think she's going to be, like, I literally know that even after the sentencing, that is not the last that we're going to hear from her, because I think she's going to be a vexatious litigant. I think she's going to be trying to sue people in the jail. She's going to be trying to accuse people in the jail of doing stuff to her that they never did. She's going to be trying to file lawsuit after lawsuit from inside that jail. Honestly, I guarantee this is not the last that we're going to hear about this Sarah Boone.
Not at all. But like Diana Howery said, when they're mean, Brooks, some don't learn. They don't. Because I'd have been scared shitless to be in that county jail. I'd have been scared shitless the minute I got interrogated when they showed the video. Instead of sitting there talking about how damn smart she is, she should just shut the fuck up, and she didn't do it. Just like George, you better shut the fuck up then.
I think it was almost a perfect trial. there was bits in it that frustrated me. There was bits of objections and stuff that went on way too long, in my opinion. But in terms of sealing the deal, actually nailing it from start to finish with almost perfect, it was just almost too perfect. Because I just think going forward, she literally won't have a leg to stand on, and there's nothing more now she can do except for take her punishment, and maybe in time she will actually find some contrition for what she did. I doubt it because of her personality, but I just feel like, you know, realistically, that's where she needs to go from here, out of society.
And I can't agree with you more. Can we have a huge round of applause for one of my besties and yours too, the one and only Kat? I need a new video for the round of applause. I'll have to start working on that today. And one for the boom moments.
Okie dokie. Thanks, Brooks. I was really looking forward to chatting with you about the trial and everything. I knew we was having 2 trials going on. It was all a bit confusing that week, but it's been really good to kind of download and debrief with you.
Yeah, I'm no NBC, CBS, or ABC News. I tried the best I could. I gave it the old college swing, but I did not realize when you're streaming into platforms, it cuts you off from one when you're talking on the other.
Oh, I didn't know that either. Well, we found out now. We know now. And actually, it was just really good to have this chance to download and debrief with you guys. So thank you very much for hearing my opinion. Sorry about my rude words, YouTube. And I'll catch up with you in a little bit in Discord.
Yeah, let's go do, let someone get it started over in Discord. We can do a Discord general voice chat because I really want to continue this conversation. You guys are the absolute best. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all the support of this channel. New members. Look at that. Diane Kilgore's back. Diane McGlory left a super chat. Excuse me. Left a super sticker. True Crime Beat. She's been a member for 23 months. So the verdict was a highlight of her week. We have a lot of new memberships and everything in here. So you all keep those up. It really helps the channel. Can't go a day without saying how wonderful our moderators are. But you guys are so awesome. We don't really need moderators, do we? We moderate ourselves. But I actually love the moderators. So you guys are the absolute best. I will see you back here tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central. We're going to talk about Madeline Soto. A lot of stuff's coming out. And I feel like with, covering trials for the last 2 weeks, I'm kind of out of the loop. So I will see you back here tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central.